This is the I.S.U.P.K under commanding General Yahanna. Today is the scripture breakdown class. So if anybody has any questions today, this is the class where you ask them. You want to ask about John 3:16, does God love everybody? You want to know about, can the Gentiles be saved? This is a class, man. If you don't believe that God only loves Israelites, this is the class where you ask it, and of course you get the answer. But before we get into the topic of the class, just some announcements. Pay your tithes, man. Tithes are 10% of anything you earn. A common example, as always, if you was to earn £100, £10 would be 10%, and that would get sent to the I.S.U.P.K, man. You can do it online. Yeah, at any school near you, you can send it to the captain or the highest ranking man in that region too, man. So there's no excuse. The same way you got to pay your taxes here. Likewise, the Lord has the same thing. And the Lord is 10% in the white man's world. How much is it? 20%, man. 20%, and you don't want to give the Lord 10%. If you don't, then something's wrong with you. Then with that being said, on a Monday night, we have the radio show hosted by Commanding General Yahanna. That's a powerful radio show. The last angry black man who's going to stand up for black people, discuss the issues of black people, not like your pastor, not like your vicar, who doesn't even care. He doesn't even take no time out of his life to even look at the conditions of blacks and Hispanics. Then from Tuesday through till Friday, you have live online classes from America. They start at 12 a.m. So you got the Brotherhood class done by Captain Mashat Mayam. Then you got the Wednesday class, which is the law class. Then you got the scripture breakdown class, usually done by General Mahayaman. Powerful classes, man. You know what I mean? Any class done by General Mahayaman, you don't want to miss. You know what I mean? To be fair, you don't want to miss any class, man. I watch them as late as it is, and I learn something every day, man. And likewise, if you want to learn, if you want to, be someone that understands the Bible, then there's only one thing you got to do. You got to learn. In the Bible, it says, how can they learn except a preacher be sent? God don't talk to you directly. God sets up his men with the wisdom, the knowledge, and the understanding. And what do? You learn from those same men that have that knowledge, the wisdom, and the understanding, man. That's what you got to do. Then you got the Friday class, which is the Lashawan Kodash, the holy tongue, the Hebrew language, the native language of every black man, every Hispanic man, every native Indian man. And you don't want to miss that too, man. Being an Israelite, we had a language too. Just like every nation has a language. Romanians have their language. The Greeks had their language. The Romans had their language. The Polish, Yugoslavian, Irish, everyone has their language. And likewise with you, black man, you Hispanic man, you native Indian man, you got a language too. And yours is the Lashawan Kodash, the holy tongue, the ancient Hebrew, man. You know what I mean? So with that being said, has anyone got anything before we get into the topic of today? The topic of today is regarding the Windrush. You know what I mean? It's been a scandal going on for almost a year now, if I'm correct. A year and some more. And for those of you that don't know what the Windrush is basically the Windrush was the first, I wouldn't say ship, but it was the first ship of West Indians that came to England. The ship was called the Windrush. So back in the 1950s, going on 1960s, that's when West Indians came over to England. So, West Indians like Jamaicans, Trinidadians, people from Montserrat, St. Anne's, and many of the other islands too. That's when we first came, and that's what the Windrush is. Those people that came from the 50s and the 60s. And for those of you that don't know, you're living in America or Hawaii or what some other places, South America. You know what I mean? What they're doing now is they're sending the generations from the Windrush back. The same people that came to England, worked hard to make England what it is today, man. Built the NHS. You know what I mean? Worked in the construction industries, the coal mines, man. In the 1960s, there was many black construction workers carpenters. You know what I mean? I've met some of them and the same, man. They worked in England when England was really cold. We think England's cold now. In the 60s and the 50s, they'll tell you England was cold, man. England was so cold, and like the snow was so high, you couldn't even open your door. When it snowed, everyone literally stayed inside. It's not like now where the snows, you know what I mean? Like the snow's about half a foot or high. That snow's up to your window, man. And you mean you had people from the Windrush working in construction, even in them times, man, freezing, the welding industry. Many of the people from the Windrush, you mean they was doing everything that white Englishmen did not want to do, man. And now they have the nerve to want to send us back, man. And that shows the hate they have. And what are we doing? Fighting for England, joining the army, trying to be a part of them when they're sending the same individuals home that made England what it is. They built the English economy, and now they want them, sent back. And there's no valid reason why. Let's say, oh, we'll look into it. And then behind everyone's back, they'll then send away some more. Then when everyone finds out, you know what I mean, it's a scandal, we'll look into it. And then they carry on sending people back. Why do they want us gone above everyone else? West Indians ain't the only immigrants here. You got tons of European immigrants that rape people, set up sex rings, escorts. What they do is from their homeland, they get like girls are 16, 18, so that they can come over here only for the purpose of sex. Not to come over here and work a job and get an education. They want them over here so that they can have them as just like sex slaves, and they just let everyone sleep with them for £60 each, man. And you know what I mean? And you're telling me the government don't see that and they don't send them home. There ain't no Windrush for the Romanians. There ain't no sending back for anyone else. But why is it when it's us? You know what I mean? They're so adamant on sending us home, man. You got the video for me? You know what I mean? We're going to get into a video where in the UK, even a white man had to admit that what they're doing in regards of the Windrush is a shame. They're sending people home that built England, worked the NHS, the welding industry, construction industry. The way how people see England thriving right now, that had some help. And that was the help of the people of the same Windrush, man. And the ones sending back and they're so adamant. And even this same guy had to admit that. Why? There's other immigrants here doing all manner of wickedness, and they're just getting locked up, and then they're released. Some are here illegally, and they just lock them up. And then what happens? Once they serve their time, then they're allowed to live in England. But meanwhile, people that was here legally worked, contributed. You want to send them back? So even this Edomite, even this devil, he had to kind of think about it, like, what is wrong? Why is it England is so keen on sending home hard-working West Indians? Meanwhile, the Polish, they do a ton of crimes, man. Drug dealing, escorting, prostitution. They're known for it, man. Anytime they raid a house for illicit sex, 9 times out of 10, what ethnicity are the people that are running that operation in the house? Eastern European, Romanian, the Polish, what's some other ones? Slovakian, you know what I mean? Albanian, the Russians, they're known for illicit sexing too, man. You know what I mean? In one house, every bedroom in the house has one woman and just in a bed in there. And what's she doing? Making the money all day long. And do you know what I mean? They arrest these people, but are they getting sent back? No, they're not. They might do 3 years and then they're allowed to remain here. And a lot of them are here illegally. Those women that they use as sex slaves, they're here illegally. And what happens? Once they get locked up, they remain, man. So we got the video. All right, so yeah, we're gonna play this video. It was off a radio show called LBC. You know, it's a political radio show where they talk about what's going on in England. So you know what I mean? With this guy, he's very English, as in he cares about what's going on. So you know what I mean? So he heard about the Windrush, and even he had to talk about it himself. Right here. Right there. How does that look?
Share as well, yeah?
Yeah, can't use. Share that. How's that looking? Yeah, that's correct, yeah.
It's incredible, isn't it? When you think about it. We have Romanian murderers come here.
All right, started there. So now the topic is the Windrush. So you know what I mean? Don't just jump into what he said. So he's saying, look, it is amazing. It is amazing. Romanian murderers. He's like, what's going on? Like you got Romanians that rape people, take their life, pay the rest.
They're rapists, and we cannot send them home. And they've been in this country in some instances for the best part of half an hour, and they've decided to murder teenagers or rape young women.
All right, I started there. Now, make no mistake, I don't agree with this man at all. He's the devil, you know what I mean? But in regards of the Windrush, what he's saying is true. So you got immigrants here, as soon as they come in half an hour, they're raping people, robbing people, and they get to stay in England, even though they've done what they've done. I've read articles and this Romanian guy raped this young girl and he's on camera running away and there are people looking for him. You watch Crime Watch, he's on there full of Romanians, full of Somalians, you know what I mean? Full of lots of immigrants. And meanwhile, when they get caught, they still stay in England. They haven't even been here for long. Some of them only been in England for a month, done a crime, get caught, and they still remain here. Meanwhile, hard-working West Indians, hard-working Israelites that, you know what I mean, work hard, they didn't rob no one. They'll work so hard just to pay rent in one room. The same amount a white man would pay for a house. We had to basically pay that same amount of rent just for one room. People that work hard since they got here, and you're so adamant on sending them back. You're so keen on sending them back. Meanwhile, there's immigrants that come to England and in one day, robbing people, raping people, setting up escorts, setting up sex rings, setting up a house where, you know what I mean? He's like the man that just makes sure that, or he makes sure that all the girls are safe. Meanwhile, there's sex slaves in one house, man. Or they're having their bedroom just the bed. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And like a light. And they're just sleeping people all day, making the money. And they get to stay, even when they get caught and what they're doing is a crime, they get to stay. Meanwhile, West Indians who work hard, they have to go, man. The white man's the devil the Bible speaks of, man. Yes, play the rest.
We have people engaged in terrorism, fomenting terrorism, preaching terrorism, dancing a jig of joy when the Twin Towers come down.
Well, I started there. And that's heavy, and he's making a valid point. I've watched videos where, you know what I mean, there's people in England, hate England, burning the English flag. You know what I mean? Saying that with England, you know what I mean, white people must die and all that. Saying it blatantly, and they get to stay. That's what.
The Pakistani guy that went to Syria for ISIS, he came back home after he completed the mission. And England sent him back. They didn't say, well, we've been out there killing our soldiers, chill. And even Piers Morgan was pissed about it as well. It's costing to be kind about it as well.
There you go. I mean, the brother made a heavy point. There's one guy, he even fought for ISIS and came back to England and no one even stopped him, man. And you want to send home the Windrush generation, a nation of people that all they did was come to England and work hard, didn't do no crime. England wanted them here. And then there's people that England don't want and they stay here. They rape people, rob people, you know what I mean? Do all kinds of evil acts. Hate England, burn the flag on English soil, and you still want them here. They went abroad, fought for ISIS, and they get to come back and people that worked and you wanted them here, they have to go. Yeah, play on.
And to spread all sorts of unrest within the country, and we cannot deport them. We have people convicted of the grossest of crimes, including paedophilia, and you're following that.
I saw it there. And it's true. There's even immigrants molesting kids, man. I've read the articles about these sex gangs, and it's about 20 of them. All they do is just get young girls. They just buy them sweets and alcohol, and they're sharing them around. And they're illegal. A lot of them too are illegal. And that's true. But you know what I mean? It's all young white girls, 16, 13, 12, even some of them. And some of the men that are raping them, they're here illegally and they don't send them back. All they do is lock them up. And once they do their 6 years, they're allowed to remain in England. So what's the situation with us? What have we done? You wanted us here. We came here on your ships. The Windrush is the English ship. And now all of a sudden, we need to just go back, man. Yeah, play on.
And we have these souls who, in some instances, have given half a century working in some pretty thankless tasks. Not all of them, but some of them. Driving the buses, working on the trains, delivering hospital food for half a century.
I started there. And now it's making a valid point. Meanwhile, us West Indians, us Israelites, we've been in England for over 50 years, 60 years, and you can't get us out of England fast enough, man. You're eager to get rid of black people out of England. Meanwhile, we did all the hard work, worked in the NHS. I've watched documentaries about what black women had to do in the NHS. The white people, they didn't want to clean up no number twos out of no bowl. And they made all the black women that work on the NHS do it, man. They did that for 50 years. Worked hard, man. Done everything, construction, driving, you know what I mean? Even driving a bus, man. And on that same bus, being called a WAG. Even on the same red letter on them, but us. It was black people that used to collect the airs, and they hated it, man. The fact that they had to hand the money onto a black man, we got racially discriminated against a lot. And we went through all that, worked in England, didn't sell no drugs, didn't do no crime. We was hated and worked hard same way, man. And they can't get you out of England fast enough, man. They can't get you out of England faster than you can say 1, 2, 3. You know what I mean? And people always question them, why are you doing this? And they just don't want to know. They don't, you know what I mean? They don't even care to think, well, to be fair, they're not even doing all the crimes. What about the Romanians, the Polish? But they're so adamant on West Indians. They gotta go. Even though we've worked here.
Man, they hate black people so much. They hate all black people. You know what I mean? Even though us as people have no mercy in the young.
We get that.
Even all black people, their friends are gonna go. You think all black people are leaving, man? You know what I mean? They're 70, even they gotta go as well. You think it's young ones, the young drug dealers or whatever, they want old black people as well as young black people.
And that's amazing because those same ones that are now old, they work for England. You're getting rid of the same people that made England while it was. The same people that worked for the NHS, done the carpentry, done the, you know what I mean, done everything, worked in the coal mines, and you're getting rid of them same people that made England while it is. After World War II, I'm not sure if anyone knows this, white people did not want to work, man. After World War II, they was exhausted from the war. So what did they decide? Well, if we send some West Indians over, they will do the jobs that we don't want to do. And that's why we came here in the 50s, in the 60s, and you want to send those same individuals back, man. You know what happens with some of them? They went back home for a holiday, and when they want to come back to England, they're like, no, you can't. Your passport is just not working. Do you know what I mean? It's just not. It's not allowing you to make your journey back. And imagine that you're getting rid of the same people that made England while it was, when white people didn't even want to work anymore. That.
How the hell does that work? Eastern European gangsters stay Hard-working people from the Commonwealth, get out. Excuse me, can I go on benefits? Can I have a part of that? Get out. Honestly, who is in charge of this?
All right.
Horrific.
And that's the end of that. He's making a valid point. They can't get you out fast enough, black man. The can't, it's like, they don't want to even know what you have to say. A lot of them are saying, well, I'm here. And have in mind, in the 60s, there wasn't those kind of documents that they require. That's a new thing. Of course, back then, once you came to England, you was English, so-called. So, of course, they're going to have certain documents that you want. And you know that. You are fully aware of that. But you're using that as an excuse to get rid of us, man. Meanwhile, there's Eastern European gangsters here that got heroin rings, crack rings, escorting rings, and they stay. When they get caught out, they stay, man. You make sure they stay in England, and the people that work hard for England, they just have to go, man. This country is upside down, and you know, like, see, here's the thing. He would never understand because he's not us. It's not because, you know what I mean, something's wrong up there. It's because the white man's the devil, man. And the white man always hates Israel. That's in the Bible, and we're going to get that too. The white man don't hate you because of something you did. He hates you because you're just children of the Lord, man. That's why he hates you. You know what I mean? Don't think the white man hates you because of your afro, because of your beard, because of your deep voice, because of how you dress, because of how you walk, because of the rap music you like, because of the reggae music you like. He hates you because you're the children of the Lord, man. And he's always going to do it, man. Give me that in Genesis 27 about when Esau hated Isaac. No, but Esau hated Jacob. I mean, I'm going to show you it's deeper than just white and black. Their forefathers, their greatest of granddads hated yours, man. And we're going to get that in the Bible. But he hated him, man. And at one point, even wanted him dead. And that hatred just, you know what I mean, it gets passed on to where even in these times, a white man hates you and he just don't know why. He just can't stand you and he don't know why. You never met him in your life, never spoke to me in your life, but he hates you. And the answer's in the Bible. We showed you that this Bible shows you everything. You will not know the reason why the white man hates you if you don't read the Bible. You will not know why white people have this hatred towards us if you're not in the Bible. Egyptology, they don't know why. I don't care what Pan-Africanism religion you're in. You will never fully understand why white people hate you unless you read the Bible, man. You got it for me.
Khan, Genesis 27:41. And Esau hated Jacob.
What did the Bible say?
And Esau hated Jacob.
Now with Esau, he's the father of the so-called white race, and he hated Jacob. Now that's the forefather of us, and Esau hated him, man. And where do you think that hate comes from now? It comes from their granddad, man. The same way their granddad hated yours, they hate you today, man. You ain't gotta do them nothing. You come to their country, work hard, build up the NHS, the welding industry, the carpentry industry, do it all, and you got to go. Meanwhile, other white nationalities, regardless of what they do, they stay here, man. Romanians rape people, not all of them, of course, but Romanians have a habit of raping people. They stay here. The Polish set up escorts and young sex rings. They stay here. Eastern Indians are raping 12-year-old white girls, man, buying them sweets and ginger beers and drinks. You know what I mean? And they stay here. They get caught. The whole ring gets rounded up, and they do their 5 years, and they stay here. Meanwhile, you, who is Jacob, you gotta go. And why? Because it's in the Bible, man. Esau hated Jacob, and that's what you're seeing right now. You know what I mean? It's got nothing to do with, you know what I mean? It's because they ain't got the right paperwork. It's because you're Jacob and the white man's the devil, man. The white man's Esau, and he hated Jacob continually. Read on.
Because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him.
Because of the what?
The blessing wherewith his father blessed him.
And that's why Esau hates us, because we're blessed of the Lord. You know what I mean? I don't care what anyone says. You know what I mean? When us as black people say white people hate us because of how we walk, how we talk, You got some coon bounties go, no, they don't. Yes, they do. You're blessed by the Lord, man. You know what I mean? The white man's blessed financially, but what you got, money can't buy, man. The way how you can wear something, money can't buy that, man. The way how the hairstyles you got, money can't buy that, man. How you buy clothes and how you wear it, money can't buy that, man. How you walk, the music you make, the things that you invent, money can't buy that, man. Why? Because you're blessed of the Lord. And Esau saw that in Jacob. He saw that God's with Jacob, and Esau hated that. And even in 2019, white people see your blessed, man. How you dress, your inventions, your lingo. You're the best at anything you do, man. You're the best at boxing, kickboxing, MMA. You do know MMA is meant to be a white man sport, the barbaric, blood gushing. And once you even get in there, you even dominate MMA. MMA is full of Asherites, man. You know what I mean? It's full of Benjamites, Judites. And really, MMA was a white man sport. A lot of people don't know the truth. I'm going to get a second. MMA was invented because racist white people hated that black people dominated other sports, kickboxing, the boxing. So they made a sport that was for them where it had predominantly wrestling. You know, white people love wrestling. And even once you get in there, you're dominating that too, man. Daniel Ormia, John Jones, Anderson Silva, Israelites, and they're the best, even in a white man sport. To now, white people don't even run MMA. We do, man. You're blessed of the Lord. Anything you set your mind to, you kill it, man. You run it, and you have something crafted.
Conrad, do you know what Muhammad said? The white people hate black people so much. They got so much that they built a statue to Rocky Balboa. He's a fictional character. He's not even real. And in Philadelphia, they built a statue to a man that ain't even real. Just because Rocky Balboa beat a black man in the film. Like, they're so happy that even a fictional character can beat a black man, that they made a statue to him. It's not even real.
That's what.
Like, you make a statue to real people that lived. Isn't it even real? It's a fake story. But they're so happy that anyone can beat a black man in boxing. Like, fuck it. You gotta make a statue to whoever it is, man. That's
true. And you do know there's something behind it as well. Sylvester Stallone, he won an Oscar for that. And Muhammad Ali, or who we know as Cassius Clay, he handed in the award. And you can look it up. What he said was, you made that film because you know that none of you white boys could ever beat me. And that's what he said to him. So even he knew, watching that, knew that really, because they couldn't beat him back in the day, that film was just representing a white man that can beat one of us, and an Israelite. And Muhammad Ali, he knew that while he handed him the award. He goes, you made that film because while it was at my best, none of you white boys could ever beat me. He said it to him. That's fact. So if you want to look it up, you can reference it. And he said that to him.
No one making, like, statues to Pikachu and fake people are fictional characters. So why are they making the statue to Rocky Balboa? Fiction? Not real. You know what I mean? Most people, because they're beating black people in the movies, and that it makes them proud and feel nice. That, you know what I mean? Anything that's all black people, they want statues.
And that's right. And that's how you know that we are the people of the Lord. Like, there's some cases where, a street fight happens and the Israelite may lose. And have you seen how the whites are like, wow, you beat him? Wow, you're amazing. Which means that shows how great we are. That even the one black person that you do beat, you got to make a big deal of it, man. You know what I mean? In a street fight, one black man may lose. Wow, he's a warrior. Everyone's like, yeah, all happy. Which shows how great you are, that even to do beat one of us, to them, it's a big thing. So even then, that we are the people that are blessed of the Lord, man. Just read that one more time.
And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing we're with. His father blessed him.
And we are blessed of the Lord, man. Ain't no secret about it. We're poor. And regardless of the situation we are in, everyone wants to be like us, man. Back in my day, there was black music, there was white music. There's a way how a black man dressed. There's a way how a white man dressed. In 2019, that don't exist no more. Everyone's like you. There's no more white image, no more. A white image is a black image. You know what I mean? Why? Because everyone wants to be like you, man. Even though they hate you, They want to be like you. They want to dress like you. Listen to the music you listen to. I listen to BBC Radio 1. They don't even play like white music anymore. Radio 1 literally plays all just black music, whether it's UK drill, UK, you know what I mean, like hip hop, American drill. Radio 1 was a white man's radio station where they play the what's some white bands, Maroon 5, One Direction. They don't play it no more. Radio 1 just plays black music. The might as well call it Hot 92. You know what I mean? Because they're not playing no white music no more. And that's us, man. That's the influence that we got, where no one don't want to be white no more. They want to be like you, man, despite having a hatred for you because you're blessed of the Lord. Read on.
And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob.
And Esau said in his heart, what's your heart? Your heart's your mind. Meaning the great, well, not the greatest granddad, but the granddad of the white man's like, you know what? In his mind, I'm going to get rid of him one day. And it gets passed down just like Shabes. In some families, your granddad had the issue, you have the issue. There's things that can get inherently passed down. And how Esau felt, white people have got that trait, man, where they just hate you and they don't know why. You got something?
Oh, come on,
let's grab that.
Vulnerable Eastern European women are being trafficked into UK brothels on an industrial scale.
Industrial scale. Do you know what? Do you know what that means? There's a lot of them going into that industry. Industrial scale meaning that for people to pay for sex, that's an industry. And these Eastern Europeans, they're getting them women to do on an industrial scale, meaning lots of them. As I said before, a lot of them that come to England, they didn't come here to go to college, go to university. They came here to be a prostitute. They came here to basically sell themselves for sex. You mean there's one man like, listen, I want her. Yeah, she's got the double D's. Yeah, you come over here. And that's all they do. They come over here simply just to get sold for sex. You know what I mean? In the UK, in the Midlands, it's usually Hagley Road. And there's videos where police are constantly knocking down door to door, man, on Hagley Road. I've seen it. I was in my car one time. Police with that battering ram, knocking it, running upstairs. A woman ran down half naked. I've seen it. And you wonder why? Because that's all Eastern Europeans, man. Any house they get, they turn that into a sex house, man. You know what I mean? You get a one bedroom flat. That one bedroom is being used to make some money, man. You know what I mean? She's in that bedroom all day, just the bed, the mattress, and the lights, man. And you know what I mean? He's just making sure she's safe. The guy who's laying down, they don't knock her up, you know what I mean? But that's what they do. And it says on that industrial scale, that means on a huge scale, meaning all the raids that they're doing, all the statistics they have shows that this is predominantly done by Eastern Europeans. What's the Eastern European? A German, Romanian, a Polish, what's some other ones? A Russian, Slovakian, Austrian, Italian, Greek, what's some other ones? Belgium, French, Spanish. And they do this. They come to England and no one ain't getting rid of them. There's no boat or some plane sending them back for, you know what I mean, escorting and sex on an industrial scale. They don't get sent back. They get arrested and they come back out. And you want to know a fact? When they get locked up, they come back out and they just do it again. They get caught. Some of them are repeated offenders. Some of the women that get caught in these sex houses, they've been doing it before. They got arrested. They come out. They get found in another sex house. They get locked up. They come out. They get caught in another sex house. And then are getting sent back. Meanwhile, the Windrush, a nation of people that work hard, they got to go, man. You got something?
It's so bad that even in the movies, every UK movie you watch, and there's a brothel scene. It's owned by a Eastern European. The movie called Ill-Mannered, brothel scene. The movie called Top Boy, when he breaks into a brothel. The Romanian woman again. There's another a movie, I think called W10.
W10.
Short movie. and the Eastern European man own a brothel again. It's just no one ever know the Eastern Europeans and Romanians own brothels.
And that's right. And they don't leave England, despite doing what they do. They don't leave England. But let's read on.
So like, yeah.
No sweat.
A damning report warns gangs are trapping women in pop-up brothels. Often homes rented for short periods, which allow pimps to stay ahead of the police.
There, so as I said before, they'll rent a house, but the house ain't just to rest their head. They make money off sex in that house, man. You know what I mean? And then they would then get another house so that police don't start to lock on that house. Like, you know what? I think some illicit sex, or some illegal forms of sex is going on in this house. So for them to stay ahead, they stay in one house for a month, then they, you know what I mean, hand it back, and then they'll go get another house. Read on.
The finding come in a report by all party parliaments on prostitution and global sex trade.
So now within the UK government, you know what I mean, there's a department for everything. There's a department for immigration, drugs, and there's a department for what again was it? Illegal prostitution. So now there's even a department for that, and even they know a lot of it is predominantly done by Eastern Europeans, the Polish, Romanian, German, Austrian, whatever the case may be. They are the people that are dominating that industry or that illegal world. Read on. That's pretty much it. All right, you know, sweat. Let's get Ezekiel 35:5. So what about this? Like, so the people that take part in this, they don't get sent home. I hope you're aware of that. They get locked up, yes, and they come back out and do it again, and nobody ain't sending them home. They're not going back to Eastern Europe. But meanwhile, our ancestors, the people that came in the Windrush, they want you gone in a heartbeat, man. You mean they're rounding everyone up, sending this person home, and they ain't done nothing wrong. All they done was work hard in a racist country, man. Being called Gog, like being called a Wog, being called a Jig, or had all racist names held at them. They couldn't buy a house, and you send them home after all their hard work. The white man's the devil, man.
God.
You got it from Ezekiel 35:5.
Ezekiel 35:5, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred.
And now, who's it talking about? It's talking about Esau. If anything, start up above, about set thy face against Mount Seir.
God. Verse 2, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir. So
now, this was told to Ezekiel. The Lord told him, set thy face against Mount Seir. Now, for those of you that don't know, Mount Seir was a place where Esau used to live. So it's not talking about literally set your face against the mount. It's talking about the people of that land and who lived in that land, Edomites, descendants of Esau, man. So the Lord's saying, set thy face against them. Read on.
And prophesy against it.
What did the Bible say?
And prophesy against it.
Well, with the Bible, you shouldn't be speaking about white people.
And prophesy against it.
So you prophesy against Esau. You know what I mean? You got people, yeah, but the Bible's more than white people, and we know that. But Ezekiel, he's doing what we're doing. We set our face against Mount Seir and we prophesy against it, man. We talk about the evil that white people do, just like Ezekiel did. He spoke against them, just like we do at the I.S.U.P.K, man. Read on.
Verse 5, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel.
And that's why we speak against white people. We don't do it because they're white. We don't do it because of their blonde hair. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred. And now who is hatred for? Israel. The 12 tribes of Israel, man. That's why we speak against them, because of their hatred. And they've slaughtered us, man. Shed the blood of the saints, man. Killed us. And then after all of our efforts, want to just send us home. That's why we speak against them, not because they're white. It's because of their actions. It's because of what the white man has done. Read on.
by the force of the sword.
By the force of the sword. What's the sword now? The sword's the gun, man. The sword is any instrument that basically does harm. And that's what the white man done. Back then it was the sword. Now it's the gun. At one point it was lynching, castrations. The white man's been killing us by the force of the sword for many years, man. And that's why we got to speak against him. Read on.
In the time of their calamity, in the time of their iniquity had an end. And there ran,
the time of our iniquity had an end. What does it mean by had an end? Meaning, if you got a cup, for example, this cup here, if this cup reaches the top and then it starts to, then what's in here, it starts to come out. That's the end. And with the sins that we had of the Lord, it reached the end, meaning it reached a point where, you know what I mean, it couldn't go anymore. And they slaughtered us by the force of the sword. When our iniquity was at the end, meaning the Lord had to pay us back. And that's what the white man did. He seen that the Lord was not with us, and he used that as an opportunity, man. And even now, the Lord ain't with us, and they use it as an opportunity in the Windrush, man. Anytime the Lord ain't with us, the white man's opportunity is like, it don't look like God's with them. And what does he do with his evil self? Kill us, deport us, lock us up. Whenever the Lord ain't with us. Give me wisdom of Solomon 5:1. You know what I mean? The Windrush is in the Bible, man. The white man making no account of your labors. This is in the Bible. You know, the Bible ain't no white man's book. The Bible's talking about us, man. Anything that's happened to us, it's in the Bible, in black and white, clear to read. Nothing we're making up, man. You got it for me.
Wisdom of Solomon 5:1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face, as such as afflicted him.
Now, according to the Bible, who's the righteous? We are, man. Israelites, blacks, and Hispanics. We are the righteous. And the time's coming where we're going to stand against those that have afflicted us. Who has afflicted us? The white man. In all ways, physically, economically, mentally. He's afflicted us in many ways, man. Taught us that being black is horrible. Made us look up to a white Christ. He afflicted us mentally. He afflicted us economically, man. Make sure we don't have the same opportunities as every other race. A lot of us think, you know what I mean, black people are dumb, man. We can't open up no shops. It's not that we're dumb. Other nations get loans. Other nations get things that you would never get. You would never see. You would never even hear of. You know what I mean? There's other nations. You're like, how do you open up that shop? Shop so big, shop so great. And then there's always one bounty that hates us. You want to know, you know what I mean? You want to know why? Because we're dumb, brother, man. You know what I mean? We can't get together, brethren. That's the problem. And you go, yeah, you know, that's bad, man. The Polish been here 3 years and look at their shops. They're selling all Eastern European foods. And you think they do that because they stick together. That's not true. The government gives them loans. Grants, even better. You know what I mean? And so when you see their big, glorious shops, it's not Polish hard work. It's not their unity. That's a lie. The government gives them that. And you want to know why? Because they know they're in a country that's not theirs. So the least they can have is a shop where the people can join together, keep their heritage going. That's why they do it. Meanwhile, you ever ask for a loan off the government, you ever ask for like a grant, they won't even write you back. The only grants you get is when it comes to rap music and songs and dancing. You know what I mean? Every black owned, what you want to call it, they get a loan when it comes to dancing, when it comes to art. I don't know why. When it comes to, you know what I mean, anything that wouldn't help. But if you want a grant for a shop, you're like, you know what? I think it would benefit us if you have this shop so that, you know what I mean, we can keep West Indian food going, West Indian heritage. They won't give you that grant. Meanwhile, the Romanians, they ask for the grant. The government gives them. There's many things these other nations get. What's the new thing? Somalian shops, Eritrean shops. It's not because they stick together. They're broke. They came to England illegally off some boats, had to, you know what I mean, hide out in the Canterbury docks and jump on the back of someone's HGV. They ain't got nothing. But you wonder what happens. The government makes sure they have something. But it's got nothing to do with black people are dumb. And that's why they afflicted us economically. They give other nations things that you will never get, things that you can't even imagine, man. And they afflicted us physically, whipping our backs, raping our women. And the time's coming where the righteous is going to stand against such that has afflicted him. Read on.
And made no account of his labors.
What did the Bible say?
And made no account of his labors.
The whole Inrush is what?
Made no account of his labors.
And that's what the Windrush is right there, man. They make no account of your labors, all your hard work you done in England in the 1950s, the 1960s, up to now. They make no account. They forget about the black women that works for pennies under the NHS, man. They forget about the black men that work for next to nothing in the construction industry, in the welding industry. A lot of people don't even understand this. When you drive on the M1, the M6, I believe the M6 was the first M-way built. It started up north and they built it down. On the M6, all those areas that you see, it was black people that done that. They was basically working on it for years, welding in the snow. You mean one family member of mine, he told me how it was that cold that they even had an exercise for them because it was that cold so that they could basically warm their hands up. And they was working on them M-ways, making sure that the people that was driving back and forth was safe. And guess what? They make no account of your labors, man. Welding on the M6 for 20 years, all the way down. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen it in the middle. There's that. It's not even any use, but it's like a area they have. It's like in the middle. It's kind of about like that height in the middle of the M-way.
Oh, separate traffic.
Yeah. You know that it was West Indians that made that, and guess what? They made no account of it. The white man kind of look and go, you know what? That's to protect me, even though you don't. You know what I mean? And say, you know what? What we're doing is evil, man. We're sending people home that built this for us. People that worked in the NHS, people that done carpentry, bricklaying for pennies, man, to make England while it is after World War II. That's what.
Even our labours predate that too. Our labours, we fought in the war. That's our labours. You know, we came. That's our labours. We predate that. We can't get a blind for one. You know, we didn't fuck them over. We didn't have been. I say, just let them. Just blind them. We can't do that for us.
That's right. The hatred they have. Now, I'm talking about the Windrush, of course, but it goes way back. Working for nothing in the West Indies, man. Picking cane, picking tobacco for nothing. And you know what I mean? You don't even make no account of that, man. The white man's a devil, man. So I gotta get off the chest, man.
Zephaniah 2:12. What's the back on that?
Zephaniah 2:12. Let's get that. Get there. All right, what's that? Zephaniah 2:12. I got it. Is that a question line or something?
No, that's myself.
Oh, got you. No, sweet.
What's the back in it? No, punchline. What's the gist of it?
For just okay, let's read it.
Zephaniah 2:12. Ye Ethiopians also shall be slain by my sword.
Okay, so you want to know what it's really talking about? I mean, we know what it's talking about. Okay, that's talking about the last days when basically we run the world, and it's saying that every nation is going to have to serve the God of Israel, pay their tithes. If they don't get no rain. If you start above, it talks about some other nations as well about they won't get no rain, if I'm correct. Then it goes, ye Ethiopians, meaning, so even you Ethiopians, if you don't do what I say, you're going to be slain by the sword. So start up a few verses above. What again? Zephaniah 2:12.
It's okay.
Yeah. Start from 6.
Verse 6. And the sea coast shall be dwellings and cottages for shepherds and folds for flocks. And the coast shall be the remnant of the house of Judah.
So now, this is talking about when we have the kingdom where at the moment we're dispersed into the four corners of the earth. But the Lord's saying he's going to bring us back. Read on.
They shall feed thereupon. In the house of Escalon shall they lie down in the evening. For the Lord their God shall visit them and turn away their captivity.
And turn us away. So wherever we are, he's going to make us return. He's going to let us wake up to who we are. And we're going to be returning back to our homeland. We're going to have the kingdom of heaven, where every nation is going to be subject to God, man. Every nation ain't going to have their own gods. Every nation ain't going to be doing what they want to do, like what you see now. In the kingdom of heaven, what do you call it? Freedom of religion ain't going to exist. It's going to be, you know what I mean? Every nation is going to be doing what we do. Read on.
Verse 8. I have heard the reproach of Moab and the reviling of the children of Ammon, whereby have they reproached my people and magnified themselves against their border. Therefore, as I live, says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, surely Moab shall be as Sodom, and the children of Ammon as Gomorrah. Okay, so now, for those of you that don't know, if you look at that land, Adam and Gomorrah, that's the uninhabitable land. Saying that, but what it's saying is the Lord's going to wipe them out. And as we read on, it's going to explain that. Read on. Even the breeding of the nettles and the salt pits, and the perpetual desolation. Read on. The residue of the people shall spoil them. And the residue of who? My people is it? And the residue of my people shall spoil them. So it's not talking about literally their land. It's talking about them. They're going to be destroyed. And we're going to rob them. Everything valuable, every piece of gold, every diamond, you know what I mean? Everything they have, we're going to spoil them. For those that don't know, that means to rob them, take what they have. So it's not literally talking about they're going to be as other man, Gomorrah. It's talking about how bad they're going to be wiped out. It's like they're going to be desolate, and we're going to rob them for what they have. So why is the residue of those people? The residue. Why? Because, of course, when like Christ returns, 1/3 is going to be saved in the fire. What's going to happen to the rest of them? You know what I mean? They're going to be, they're going to die, and of course, they're going to be reincarnated in the kingdom. Do you understand? So that's what it says, the residue. Because when Christ returns, not all of Israel's going to make it. They're going to be saved, but they're going to, again, come back in the kingdom. But when Christ returns, some of us are going to die too, that side with the white man, that are fighting in the army, that ain't on the side of the Lord. Read on. And the remnant of my people shall possess them. We're going to do what? Possess them. We're going to possess them. We're going to own them. If you go to Isaiah 14:1, it said the same thing. We're going to take them. You know what I mean? We are going to take them onto our land. So again, that happens when we are returning to the kingdom. So you know what I mean? So that's just going into the same thing. Read on. This shall they have for their pride, because they have reproached and magnified themselves against the people of the Most High of hosts. And therein, the reason why this is happening, because they've magnified themselves against us. You know, I don't know if a lot of you don't know, so-called Chinese people hate black people, man. Just that because they're not so outwardly like white people, like Indians. Some people don't know that, but those Asian people hate black people badly, man. And too, but we're talking about in the context of this, it's talking about Moab and Ammon right here. So it's saying that them specifically, of course, other nations have too, but they have magnified themselves against us, and they do, man. Those Asians, those Japanese, Chinese people, they are racist, man. It was in a class with General I.S.U.P.K. He said that whenever they think they are above someone, they always talk to them with their hands behind their back. And whenever they talk to black people, to get all arrogant and proud, like, yes, I know, like this, please.
They magnify themselves against us. They think we're nothing. And that's why the Lord's making sure they come with us, man, to be our slaves because of them magnifying themselves against us. Read on.
Verse 11, the Lord will be terrible unto them, for he will famish all the gods of the earth, and men shall worship him, every one from his place, even all the isles of the heathen.
So now this is the context for the next verse. So now the Lord, he's going to be horrible upon all the gods of the earth. Meaning he's going to destroy them. He's going to destroy every mosque, every Hindu temple, every religion's going down. He's going to be horrible upon all the gods of the earth. So all religions, all the places where they serve their gods at. The Lord's going to be horrible upon him. And what's the other part saying? And men will worship him. So meaning once the Lord destroys every temple, everything that is made to some other God, everyone's going to worship him. Everyone's going to know that the God of Israel, that's the only real God, man. Not no Allah, not no, what's some other ones, Vishnus and Horuses and Seths and all that stuff. Everyone's going to serve the Lord, man. Read on. Oh, but let me it's clear. Everyone's going to serve the Lord under us. In Isaiah, it says, many nations, they're going to come to us going, let us seek the God of Israel. Why are they doing this? Because the Lord destroyed all of their gods, man. So they're going to know, like, wow, like, it seems like those Israelites, they have the living God. So you know what? Let's go and learn their ways, man. Let me go and see what their God wants me to do. And God ain't going to talk to them directly. We're going to talk to them in the kingdom of heaven. They're going to come to Jerusalem to learn the law. We get that after this, Isaiah, the 2nd chapter.
Verse 12, ye Ethiopians also, ye shall be slain by my sword.
So in the context, why is it saying that?
It basically says everyone's getting fucked up. It mentions Moab, then the Ethiopians, lost everybody to get everyone to worship him, breaking them all down.
There you go. So yeah, that's what it's on about. So once everyone's gods, even though they don't exist, once they get destroyed, every nation serving the God of Israel, they don't have no choice. And them too, Ethiopians, if they don't, they're going to be slain by the sword. Read on.
Verse 13, and he will stretch out his hand against the north and destroy Assyria, and will make Nineveh a desolation and dry like a wilderness. There, so it's talking about every nation. So basically, the whole point it's making is everyone's going to serve our God. No one ain't gonna have their God. And for those that don't, they're gonna die. Even the Ethiopians, man. So understandable. I have a question. You know the whole Samson thing, yeah? Was it the fact that he cut his hair, or the fact that he broke covenant with the Lord? The Christian made out like he had magical hair, you know, and he cut the hair, and the hair just stopped powers. Or the fact that he was disobeyed the Most High, that's where his power left. No, the hair wasn't the strength of him. It was the spirit of the Lord. If I'm correct, if you get that, when like they came and they got him for the last time, it's that the spirit of the Lord departed from him. So it wasn't really the hair. He did take a vow about his hair, but the power and the strength that he got, that was the spirit of the Lord. If you got it for me, in Judges. So you mean I know what you're saying, like Christians like to say his strength was in his hair, and when they they finally found out, that's when they cut off his hair. His strength was not in his hair. His strength was the spirit of the Lord, and when it left him, he lost it regardless of the hair. If you get that for me as well in Judges. We'll find it. But it lets you know when they got him the last time and they burnt his eyes. Before that, it said the spirit of the Lord left, so it wasn't his hair where the strength was. You got it for me. Judges 16 and 19. And she made him sleep upon his knees, and she called for a man, and she caused him to shave up the 7 locks of his head. And she began to afflict him, and his strength went from him, and And she said to the Philistines, be upon Samson. And he awoke out of his sleep and said, I will go out as the other times and shake myself.
So now he's always win them. So they used to come to lock him up or try to basically execute him, man. Because of the spirit of the Lord, he will go out there and fight them. So we're not going to read it, but his wife asked him one time, why are you so strong? And he lied. Then the Philistines came, he beat them. Then she asked him again, he lied. He came outside, beat them again. But the last time, what he thought where his strength was, he basically let her know, and she then cut his hair. So now he goes outside to fight them like basically every other time. But though with this time, the spirit of the Lord left him. Read on.
And he wist not that the Lord was departed from him.
What did the Bible say?
The Lord was departed from him.
So the hair ain't got nothing to even do with it. The last time he went out to fight against them and they beat him was because the Lord left him. It had nothing to even do with his hair. His hair was a vow that his mom made. You know what I mean? No, his dad made. But his hair wasn't where his strength was. You know what I mean? His strength came from the Lord, man. That's even in the book of Arms, where King David said that, you know what I mean? We trust in the Lord. Someday, I believe it's in Psalms 115 about some they trust in a horse, but we trust in the Lord. So even he knew that regardless of what you have, whether you win a battle or not, it always comes down to you serving the Lord, man. So just read the rest of that, then the one in Psalms about.
The Lord departed from him, but the Philistines took him and put out his eyes.
Also, they put out his eyes, meaning I believe it's only like iron. They made it burn his eyes. I believe
in the movie, that's what they said.
That would say, yeah, in the film. I'm referencing that. But all it says is they took out his eyes. So however you take out someone's eyes, that's what they done to him. So his strength was in his hair. His strength was from the Lord. Let's get that in Psalms about. He's talking about a war about someday like the horses, but we trust in the Lord. I believe it's Psalms 115, like the last verse or something like that. Let me see if we can get it as well. In chariots, but we trust in the Lord.
Psalms 20:7. Some trust in chariots. Some trust in horses. But we remember the name of the Most High, our power.
There's now, in your own time, you can read it from verse 1. He's talking about war and people that wanted him dead. And he's letting you know he's the man that had many wars and lived through all of them. He died of an old age. He didn't die in a war. And he's saying, really, in war, it comes down to the name of the Lord, man. It comes down to you serving the Lord. That's what warfare is all about, man. If you serve the Lord wholeheartedly, you won't lose. And King David, he understood that. And the problem is, when it came to Samson, he did not know that. He thought that his strength was in his hair, and his strength was not in his hair. His strength was from the Lord, man. He was set up to save Israel, but what happened? It fell weak for a heathen woman. And you know what I mean? He told her all the secrets, you know what I mean? Yeah, man, my hair and all that. And she used it against him, just like what a white woman does to a black man right now, man. You got a black man with some white woman now telling that, you mean black women got weaves, black women cause problems, and that same white woman down the line does him dirty, man. And Samson had the same issue, man, telling her all the secrets, and she done the same thing what heathens do to us right now, man. You know what I mean? Let's read that one more time.
Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we remember the name of the Lord our God.
There, so in war, we remember the name of the Lord our God. We know that regardless of what weapons we have, regardless of how much self-defense we do, it all comes down to, is the Lord with you or not, man? So that's a verse to go along with that. Anything else?
So basically, he broke the covenant with the Most High.
That's right.
But it wasn't really the hair itself.
No, it wasn't the hair itself. We know in the Bible there's a law against Israelites being with anyone out of their race. You know what I mean? That's in which verse? Deuteronomy 7 and 3. And of course, it's all throughout the book. And that's where he went wrong. It had nothing to do with his hair. Just that because religions don't know the Bible, they emphasize on his hair. And people that don't read the Bible think his strength was in his hair.
So
Delilah cut his hair. And that's not really the issue.
So him cutting his hair was part of the covenant. And him cutting the hair broke the covenant with the Lord. That's what. But it wasn't the hair itself. The hair wasn't magical hair.
No.
How they cut it, and he broke the oath.
The oath. That's right. Yeah, that's the problem. So basically, that's what happened. Had nothing to do with the hair. There's another one about what. Give me Psalms 34 and 12. If I'm correct. You know what I mean? In the book of Psalms, it's heavy because you're reading about a man that was basically doing war from he was young, man. He was a young man, killed Goliath, always had wars to protect Israel. And throughout all of his wars, he knew that it really comes down to if the Lord's with you or not. And that's something that we need to understand. You know what I mean? I know there's some people in the UPK doing boxing, doing MMA. All that's good. But make sure you're right with the Lord first, man. You can do all the MMA you want, and if the Lord ain't with you, you will lose to someone that ain't hit a punching bag in his life. If the Lord ain't with you, man. And that's what the law comes down to. Now, of course, don't be an idiot too, and don't learn these things. But know that all of it comes down to if the Lord's with you. You know what I mean? Even though King David, he knew that it's all about if the Lord is with you. He still had his sword. He still learned, but he knew really it comes down to if the Lord's with you. And I'll get that verse to you, Kurt. I know what someone's thinking. How do you know that he learned war? I'll get that for you too. But read it for me. Psalms 34 about the angels in camp about the righteous.
Psalm 34 and 7. The angel of the Lord encampeth about them that fear him.
So if you're afraid of the Lord, there's an angel encamping about you. Meaning there's an angel watching over you. So it's deeper than your hair. It's deeper than your MMA classes, your boxing classes. It's all about if there's an angel encamping round about you. There's many people that learn self-defense and they're dead. There's many people that learn self-defense and someone had a knife. What did that mean? There was a video in Osha, and there was a guy that knew MMA. He got into a street fight, and the punch knocked him clean dead. And where did all those years of MMA go? You know what I mean? Nowhere. Why? Because there wasn't an angel encamping about him, man. And that's what King David knew. And with now relating that back to Amson, that was the problem. Not that his hair. It was about the Lord was with him, and when the Lord was not with him, he lost. Simple as. Read on.
And delivereth them.
And delivereth them. King David had many wars and got home safe, man. He was delivered by the Lord. So let me get to that. He knew how to war with his sword. What's that? Psalms 141. Psalms 141 and 1. No, Psalms, which one? About my hands to make war. Second. My hands to make war. That's the one I'm looking. I think it's Psalms 137 and 1. It's kind of, let me see. No, that's not it. One second, I'll quickly look it up.
1834.
1834.
Okay.
All right, yeah, let's grab that.
Psalm 1834. He teacheth my hands to war.
And that's the Lord, and that's the Lord. He taught his hands to make war. So did the Lord carnally just get his hands? No, meaning he learned self-defense. King David learned how to fight. The Lord taught him to make war, even though he's physically doing it himself. That was from the Lord. So don't walk around with your head in the clouds like everything's gonna be all right. You mean one thing in the UPK, Christianity don't exist in here, man. If people are hungry, they need food. If people, need a house, we supply them with that house. We're not Christians walking around with our head in the sky like everything's fine. Things carnally need to happen. And likewise, for you to defend yourself, even though the Lord's with you, you need to learn these things. And the Lord taught King David's hands how to make war. Read on.
So that a bow of steel is broken in my arms.
There, so he was strong. So imagine that. He could basically break something with his arm, so he could grab it and just break it, man. Do you know what I mean? He was a strong man, so did he lift weights? Or did he do some kind of physical exercise? Yes, he did. You know what I mean? That strength don't just come from nowhere. Do you know what I mean? So he learned self-defense. He done whatever he did to become a strong man too. And there's another one in Psalms 144 and 1. That's the one I was looking.
Psalms 144 and 1. Blessed is the Lord my strength, which teacheth my hands to war.
So now, what's significant about this right here? What lets you know that this comes from the Lord?
And the Lord teaches me all. Not only does he make war, the Lord does it for him. The Lord ain't all loving and cuddly and nice. The Lord tells him to learn how to fight. That's
right. The Lord commands you to learn how to fight. You know what I mean? One thing what we do now, we become very laid back. We're just like things that make us happy. But back in those ancient days, every nation, it's common sense to learn how to make war. People are going to attack your land. People are going to rape your women. People are going to rob your cattle. So it's common sense that you should learn how to make war so that you defend what's yours. And it's natural. We wasn't just a nation of people reading the Bible all day. We learned warfare, man. We knew how to use a sword. We knew how to use hand-to-hand combat. You know what I mean? We knew those things. Why? Because it's natural. It's natural for any nationality to defend what's theirs and their land. Read on.
And my fingers to fight.
And my fingers to fight. So King David could fight. King David learned whatever was available back then and used it, man, in his wars. Any more on that, is that it? All right, that's it on that. Let's get back to the Windrush, man. Let's get Ecclesiasticus 6. And I believe it's 10.
Ecclesiasticus 6 and 10. Again, some friend is a companion at the table. I will not continue in the day of thy affliction.
All right, so now, of course, now, how does this relate to the Windrush? The white man, when he was here, you know what I mean? Eventually, once we got in and people started to like us to some extent, people thought, white people was fine. But as soon as affliction came, what happened, man? They're gone. No one ain't helping you. No one ain't saying nothing. People know that the Windrush is happening. But if you notice, white people hardly even talk about it. They're quick to talk about everything else in England. You know what I mean? Talking about, things that they don't like, too many Romanians and that. But what about the Windrush, man? What about the people that made England what it is today, man? You know what I mean? We affected England in so many ways, and yet now the time's coming when you're getting kicked out of this place. No one cares, man. No one ain't talking about it. What's that guy, Tommy Robinson? You know what I mean? He lives talk about, I'm not racist. I just care about England. Well, isn't the Windrush a problem in England? And you ain't talking about it. Tommy Robinson knew, what part is he of the English Defence League? Yeah, meaning they defend England from, anything that would harm England. According to England, the people of the Windrush, they're English, and he never talks about them. So much for defending England. You know what I mean? The people of the Windrush made England what it is, man. Works all the jobs that white people did not want to work. And is he defending them? Is the EDL defending them? No, they're not, man. The EDL is a racist organization, man. I said it, man. The EDL is a racist organization only for the benefit of white people, man. That's all what it is. And you got some of us that go, well, Tommy Robinson ain't racist. He's defending England. You got to understand what he's really talking about. You got to understand what he really means. And now here's the problem. You don't understand what it means. The English Defense League is for white people. All of the followers, what are they? Racist, pub drinking white people, man. That's all the followers. It's not defending us at all, man. English Defense League is not defending people of Caribbean descent at all. Go down to verse 12. Think about to never trust an enemy.
Verse 12. If he be brought low, he will be against thee.
And then that's the problem, man. We are down low and he's against us, man. And that's the problem. For us to know the real nature of the white man, it always comes down to us being low and then seeing how against us the white man is. I don't want to knock no one while they're down, but many elders from the Windrush, they think they're English. They think them and the white man are one. They love their white friends. They want to be a part of the white world so much. And now you're brought down low. They're against you. No white person speaks against the Windrush. There's no white person saying, you know what? Nah, I need to go to the house. What's the house? 10 Downing Street. Yeah, there's no white man saying, you know what? I need to go down there and talk about this. This is wrong. Meanwhile, what the audience say? I'm not racist. I've got black friends. So you don't want to help those black friends out. You know them saying black friends that are getting deported, you don't want to help them out. I thought we was all one. And that's the problem. For us to realize that the white man's our enemy, it always happens where we need to be brought down low. Then we see the real nature of the white man, that he doesn't care about you. Many times you're English, mate. Yeah, you're one of us. But every time something bad happens, how they react to us is like we're not English. And that's the problem. Read on.
God. And will hide himself from thy face.
And will do what?
Hide himself from thy face.
And that's what white people are doing. They're hiding themselves from thy face. They know about the Windrush. You're telling me they've never read about it. They've never heard about it. They know about the Windrush. They know it's wrong, but white people as a whole, they're not talking about it. And even the ones that do, they're not saying, let's do something about it. It's like, oh, that's bad. Yeah. But anyway, back to me now, you know what I mean? And that's the problem. They hide themselves from you. We was in England for many years thinking we're English, not even sending no money back home to Jamaica, man, back to Trinidad, back to Montserrat. You know what I mean? That's something a lot of people don't even do. You got family back home suffering and don't send them nothing, man. You're selfish in England, living life. And even to that extent, you ain't even living life. And you don't send no money back. Why? Because you think you're English. And now look, the white man's hiding his face from you. Now when you need to go back, he's not helping you. He's not saying, this is outrageous. We got to do something about this. He acknowledges it, but it's like, well, that's how it goes, man. And then he's getting on with it. Read on.
God. Separate thyself from thine enemies.
What did the Bible say?
Separate thyself from thine enemies.
And that's what we're lacking in. We don't separate ourselves from our enemies. Even though we came to England, that's not a sin. You can come to England, make your money, but separate yourself from your enemies, man. Don't do what they do. Don't take up their habits. Don't serve their God. Coming to England ain't no sin, but fix up your land. Now, Jamaica ain't necessarily our land, but that's where the bulk of us are, man. If you're in England, the bulk of your ancestors were in the West Indies. Send that money back. Make sure there's a house in Jamaica for you, man. Make sure there's a house in Montserrat for you. Separate yourself, work here, make your money. but always make sure that back home, I'm just using that for now. You got something, separate yourself. And who else does it? East Indians do it.
God.
East Indians come to England, work hard, become doctors, become accountants. And back home in Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, Nepal, they have homes back there. All that hard work to do is so that they can leave England. And for those that remain, they do it just to make extra money, to make sure that the family back home's all right. But even they know within themselves, this is not home. Although I got a nice house here, I got a nice Mercedes here, this is not home. I got some nice things while I'm here, but I make sure back home where my ancestors are, I've got something, so that once England falls, like the Bible says, I've got something, man. I can go somewhere else. And that's the problem. We did not do that. We came here and got comfortable. We came here and thought, you know what? England's for me, man. I got my white girl on my side. I'm British, man. I'm boxing now. I'm playing for Man United now. I'm at the job. White people love me. We're making jokes together. And I don't know how you think that means white people love you, but that's what we thought, you know what I mean? And we forgot home, left uncles and aunties in Jamaica, in Kingston, suffering, man. Didn't help them. They're ringing you every time, I beg your money. You know what I mean? And you ain't doing nothing. You're even ignoring them. It's become now a very common thing where you don't send money back. People laugh like, they always want money, man. Gosh. Every time they're calling me, do you know why they're calling you? Because they got no money. And it's your job to help them out. Of course, don't let no one take the piss. But yes, you should send money back to your aunts, to your uncles, to you know what I mean? Any family you got, that's mandatory. And we even make a joke about it, like, you know what I mean? I'm not doing that. They're calling me, I'm not answering. You know what I mean? You see the Jamaican number, you're like, psh. The 187, like, psh. Yeah, the 1876. You're like, psh. He wants some money, man. Psh. I ain't even got no money, ignoring his calls. And that's the problem. You're doing that now, and guess what? That same you know what I mean? Them say people from the Windrush, they're going back to country and they got nothing there. Them same descendants, they sent nothing to. You're gonna have to live at their house. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to be around them. Now, if you looked out for them, you would go back to something nice. If you done what every other nation did, you'll be going home to something nice. Like, you know what? England don't want me. Don't worry about it, man. I work hard in Jamaica. I got some nice mansion out there with a swimming pool. You mean I'll sort something out. In Jamaica, I'm running a bus company, taxi company. You're doing something, man. And we didn't do that. And now we're paying for it, man. You see, with the Lord, always keep this in mind. If you don't keep his commandments, he'll get you one way or another. And we broke them commandments, man. To love your neighbor as yourself is a commandment. And our neighbors in Jamaica, we didn't help them, man. And now you got to go back and live in the same condition as them because you did not help them, man. Again, that in Leviticus 19 and 18. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. We didn't keep it. And now you're going back to a place where you could have helped and it wouldn't be so bad. Do you want to know why a lot of them want to come back to England? Because they know how poor Jamaica can be and you didn't help no one. You're going to go back to your aunt's house and she ain't helping you because you ain't helped her, man. They might even let you leave the house when you return. And that's why people are fretting. It's wrong what the white man did, but we had a part to play too, man. We didn't do what we was meant to do. Give me that in Leviticus 19 and 18.
Leviticus 19 and 18. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people. But thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. And
that's the law. You should love your neighbor as thyself. Meaning the same way you want someone to handle you, you handle them the same way. If you was in the West Indies poor and you had family that lived in a country that was richer, what would you want them to do? Send you back some money, help you out, love your neighbor as you love yourself. And we didn't do that, man. Ignoring their calls, you know what I mean? Seeing the 1876 number. Psh, I ain't got no money, man. Blowing money on nightclubs and things that you didn't even have to do when you could have sent it back. And then when the white man wants you to leave England, you're like, well, you know what, bye. You mean I've handled business home, so you know what I mean? It's sad what he done to us, but you know what I mean? I've got something to go back to. When you think England's home and you put all your eggs in England and there's no eggs back in Jamaica, What's the problem? You're scared to go back. You're like, I ain't got nothing. I'm gonna go back to nothing. Not a house. Not even like a shop that I established. Nothing. Zero. Zilch. And that's the problem. Because we didn't love our neighbors as ourselves. And that's the problem, man. Us being the Israelites, when we don't serve the Lord, what happens? The Lord makes sure we pay for it, man. We're paying for the sins of our forefathers. We're paying for the sins of what we do, man. And that's the problem, but we don't know it because of religion. We don't know it because of a pastor. But when we disobey the Lord, we pay for it in one way or another. Again, for me in Ecclesiastes, about though they get away with it, it's about sin, like I think it's Ecclesiastes 12 about though they get away, the Lord pays them back. In Ecclesiastes about let me get it. About because it ain't executed speedily, that's the better. It might be 9 or 10.
$8.11.
8:11. All right.
Ecclesiastes 8:11. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily.
All right. So because someone doesn't get their recompense from the Lord fast, so you know what I mean? We was in England living wrong, man. Eating bacon, trying to be like the white man, trying to live his way of life. And the Lord, he didn't pay us back, you know what I mean, in one day. It took time and we're paying for it now. We did not want to send money back. We forgot about, you know what I mean, the people in the West Indies. And the Lord, he will pay you back one day or another, 1 year or another, 1 decade or another. The Lord will pay you back. Read on.
Therefore, the heart of the sons of men.
So now, because the Lord doesn't pay back immediately, therefore, in the hearts of the sons of men, meaning because the Lord ain't paid them back for a wrong they done, in the minds of the son of men, we're going to find out. Read on.
Is fully set in them to do evil.
So because the Lord don't pay them back so fast, it's always in the mind to do evil. Why? Because the Lord ain't got them. First, someone's afraid when they do something wrong, like, nah, the Lord, he might get me back for that. They do it again. They ain't got them paid back yet. Do it again. To where it becomes a habit. And that's us, man. At one point in time, it was the norm to send money back home. Then what happens? People start to get comfortable with not sending money back. To what happens now, it's even like a black joke where, you know, you don't send anything back. Like, I'm not saying nothing back. They're only ringing me because they want money. And you know what I mean? It becomes a joke. And we're not following the laws. To love your neighbor as you love yourself, it's a physical thing. And they're your neighbors, man. They're people in the island with no opportunity because of the white man in England. You're trying to come over here, live happy with him. Meanwhile, the descendants of those same individuals, they afflicted your ancestors in the West Indies. Jamaica ain't poor because we're just violent. Jamaica's poor because of the white man. Because of his JLPs and what's the other one? JLP. There's another group. PMP. All those are run by white people, man. They're run by heathens. They're run by black people. You got something?
How can Jamaica fund Britain and make it what it is today, but now have no resources? The same resources make England what it is, but now why is it poor now? Was it poor then? It wasn't poor to make England what it was. Why is it poor now?
That's right. For those that don't know, the West Indies made England billions of pounds, countless money. You got people that made money back in the 1600s and they even spent it now. That's how much money the West Indies made. So why is it the West Indies is in the state that it's in now, surely them same resources are there which the white man had. But you want to know what he does? He makes sure you don't have it. He makes sure what he had to make him rich, you never get it, man. And that's what he's doing. So the West Indies, they in the condition it's in because, you know what I mean, they're just savages, all their political wars, all their guns and the reggae music. No, it's poor because of the white man, man. He makes sure you don't ever have it, man. You can't even sell bananas in Jamaica. You know what I mean? You can't sell bananas to England, to no country that don't have them. They sanctioned the West Indies on that to where you can't even sell bananas. Imagine that. Something that your country grows naturally that can, you mean that the money that comes back can feed the homeless, make sure people have a house, and you stop that, man. The white man's the devil, man. You stop him. You stop a country from making money for themselves. It's like, imagine you're a carpenter and you got the ability to make money, and I go, no, from as long as you're here, you can't make no money doing what you can do. So what are you meant to do? And that's what the white man done with the whole island. They got bananas galore and you got them, but you can't sell them. We make sure that wherever you go, you can't sell what your country has in abundance. So how are the people meant to eat? They're not poor because, you know, they just can't get it together. All they want to do is dance all day, or what's with the clothes, Weddy Wednesdays, Pasa Monday. You know what I mean? That's not the case. You know what I mean? They're poor because of you, man. And that's something you need to understand. Any problem black people have, it always comes back to the white man. I know you think, yeah, right, it does. Some form or another, the root of it is always the white man, man. But read on in where you was at.
Ecclesiastes 8 and 11. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily. Therefore, the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil.
Read on.
Verse 12. Though a sinner do evil 100 times, and his days be prolonged.
All right, so now keep this in mind. This talking about the white man here. He's a sinner. He don't follow the commandments of God. But what's his issue? He lives, man. We eat pork. We get the gout, the cankles, and we're dead. White man eats pork. He's fine, man. Lives to 80. We do what he does. We die. So even him, he sins, but his days are prolonged. He don't go through what we go through. Why? Because we're held to a higher standard than him, man. That's why. But let's find something out. Read on.
And his days be prolonged. Yet I know that it shall surely be well with him that fear the Most High.
And listen to what he's saying. Though the white man lives long and he does the same things we do, at the end of it, it's going to be well with us, man. Us that serve the Lord, it's going to be well with us. He's doing evil right now. He's winning. But we get the last laugh, man. We're going to be the winners at the end of this. He's doing his evil. He's living long. But it's going to be well with us that fear the Lord, man. You that follow his commandments, it's not over for you, man. There's a light at the end of all of this. You know what I mean? You got some people that want to leave the truth, want to celebrate Valentine's Day, want to, you know what I mean, they want to do what the heathens do. And why? Because they don't fear the Lord. They don't believe what we're reading right here, that it's going to go well with you, man. They don't believe that although the white man's ruling now and it seems like he's winning, that's only for a time, man. But it's going to go well with you at the end. At the end, you're going to be laughing. At the end, you're going to be ruling. At the end, you're going to have that last laugh, not the white man. But it goes well with us that fear the Lord. Read on.
Which fear before him.
Read on.
But it shall not be well with the wicked.
And that's key. It's not well with the wicked. Although they're living long now, although they're ruling now, it's not going to go well with them. You know what I mean? Look at England, like every empire. They ruled for a time and it seemed like it would never stop. You know what I mean? Some of these empires ruled for like 500 years. Now, you being around in them times, you can't imagine them not ruling. You're like, you know, my granddad died, I'm alive, they're still ruling, man. But with the wicked, it always comes to an end, man. It doesn't always go well with the wicked. What's some empires? The Babylonian Empire, Assyrian Empire, ruled for hundreds of years, and where are they now? Nowhere. Who cares about them? The only time you care about them is when you want to learn history. Outside of that, no one don't want to know about Babylon. Who cares? Assyria, who cares? Nineveh, who cares? Nobody. It don't go well with the wicked. Although it seems like, they're prolonged, man. They're never going to die. They're ruling forever. It goes well with them that fear the Lord, man. And there's always an end to the wicked. Read on.
Neither shall he prolong his days,
Which
are as a shadow.
Which are as a shadow, meaning they go fast. Remember, in the Bible, it says, a day to the Lord is as 1,000 years. So the ruler of the Medes, Assyrian, that was nothing. To us, it's long. But to the Lord, they were only ruling for a moment. But what does it say about us in the Bible? We're going to take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever and even forevermore. We're not ruling for a time like them. We're going to rule forever, man. Imagine that. There's no end. It ain't 500 years. Ain't 1,000 years, just forever. As long as the earth's here, the sun and the moon, Israelites are going to be ruling this earth, man.
God.
And guess what? That's what we got. That's why it goes well with them that fear the Lord. Look at England. People thought England would never lose, man. England's one of the richest countries on the earth. Conquered South Africa, Australia. Who's that? India. You mean ruling? And look at them now, man. England's falling. You mean, of course, we are in England, and the white man nowadays is miserable, man. The whole EU Brexit thing, that's made white people miserable. You see on them? You mean things are gonna change, and every empire falls, whether it's economically first, physical first, and England's the same way, man. England's falling like any other empire. You mean England had the money, had the riches, and look at them now. They're begging every country that please, what we have, please, we want to maintain some of it, and they're like, no. If we leave the EU, then what's the point? They're begging, and who would ever think of that day where Great Britain is begging other countries, man, for like a deal? Great Britain, that says a lot. England's great, and they're begging Germany, please, our lorry drivers want to come to Germany to make trade. Please don't tax them high, please, please, please. They're begging, man. Begging Belgium, talking to France, doing everything they can. And who would have thought that, man? When I was younger and I was in the world, England was made to seem so great. England had it all, and look at them now, man. 2019, damn, they're begging every country to make some kind of Brexit deal. Begging them, man. Read on.
Which are a shadow, because he feareth not the Lord.
And that's why they died. That's why the wicked goes, because they don't fear the Lord, man. England don't fear the Lord, although they read the Bible. How do you know England is not afraid of the Lord? That's true. And they got religions around. If you fear the Lord, England should be a one religion place. No mosques, no Hindu place to worship, no nothing. If you fear the Lord, remember there's a commandment saying, thou shalt have no other God before me. So in England, why there's a mosque, temples, good warriors and all that stuff? So clearly England don't fear the Lord, and that's why England's gonna fall, man. That's why the whole EU's gonna fall. Germany, Belgium, all them places, Belarus, all them places, they're going down simply because they don't fear the Lord. They don't fear the Most High. Read on.
There is vanity which is upon the earth, that there be just men, unto whom it happeneth, according to the work of the wicked again. There be wicked men, to whom it happeneth according to the work of the righteous. All
right, so can anyone break that down? What is King Solomon trying to say?
Start line by line.
Yeah.
There be vanity which is done upon the earth.
All right, so it's letting you know, on the earth there's vanity. There's something that's worthless, or in this context, there's something that's not right. Like, You know what I mean? Like something that happens on this earth, which is just not right. Read on.
That there be just men unto whom it happeneth. Because the men that keep the commandments, men that are in the I.S.U.P.K, these vain things happen to these men.
That's right. Like, for instance, us, you know what I mean? We are righteous men, and some things happen to us that should not happen, man. We're suffering in the ghettos, man. You know what I mean? We got nieces and nephews, uncles locked up and all that stuff. There's things that happen to us that's vanity, like, you know what I mean? Things that should not happen, but it does happen. Read on.
Unto whom it happeneth, according to the work of the wicked.
According to the work of the wicked. So what's the work of the wicked? Drugs, crack, all kind of evil, man. You know what I mean? The white man, he does the work of the wicked, and us living amongst our own race of people, some unjust things happen to us, man. Your car window gets smashed, phone taken, and these things happen to righteous men. You know what I mean? We've done camps, and the next day your car window smashed. Like, bro, what happened here? And that happens. Why? Because the work of the wicked. One thing you never want to do, never hate a brother in your heart, man. Anytime a brother does something to you, always keep this in mind: the white man's the devil, man. Anytime a brother hates you, the white man's the devil. Do you want to know why he hates me? Because of the white man. He's, for hundreds of years, put in our mind, we're nothing, we're worthless. Don't just, you know what I mean, attack what you see by the face. Get to the root of it, man. And it's the white man's the devil, man. When you're at your job and one black man don't want to have a word with you because he thinks he might get sacked because he's talking to someone who's black, he's wrong for doing that. But always think the white man's the devil. He don't want to talk to me simply because of he's trying to get the love of you. And that's the problem, man. You know what I mean? Because of the work of the wicked, that's why we are in some of the situations that we are in. Read on.
Again, there be wicked men to whom it happeneth according to the works of the righteous.
So now, something that should happen to a righteous man, because his kingdom's upside down, the wicked get it. The wicked live in a community crime-free, drug-free. You mean anything they want, they get, and really we should get that. So that's what it's saying. Like it's like it's not right. Like what the righteous man should be getting, he's not getting. Meanwhile, the wicked man, he's getting that. If you understand. All right, read on.
I said that this also is vanity.
And so he said this is vanity. Like so, he observed it and goes, "That is not right, man." Have we got anything online? Any questions? For what? How much we got? How much time we got left? For 10 minutes. All right, no sweat. Let's get Hebrews about no one as vain as Esau. Now, bit 13. About no one profane as Esau. You might be 12, 13. Let me look it up a second. Profane person as Esau. I'm sure it's like 12, 16. All right, it's probably.
Hebrews 12 and 16.
Matter of fact, start from verse 15.
12 and 15. Look diligently, lest any man fail of the grace of the Most High.
Okay, so it's telling us, look, make sure that we don't all. Why? Because there's some people, they fall, man. They're in here, got the knowledge, and they just fall. You know what I mean? They get enticed by the world, get enticed by what they see, and it's warning us, don't fall from this. You know what I mean? If you ain't locked in here, it can happen. If you ain't reading the Bible, asking questions, keeping this in your mind, making sure that you're learning, you can fall, man. You can just, not watch online classes and all you have is the world in front of you. And by default, what's going to happen? You're going to fall. If you ain't reading, researching, asking questions, inquisitive, naturally you will fall. And it's warning us, lest we fall. Read on.
By the grace of the Most High, lest any root of bitterness springing up trouble you, and thereby many be defiled.
There, so if you let anything to bring up which the Lord don't like, you get defiled by that, man. If you let weed come back in your life, that's that bitterness right there. And if you start getting high again, you get defiled, man. This is warning us, don't let nothing come back up in you, man. Those demons that you fought to come in here, don't let them come back up, man. Don't let no bitterness come in you and defile yourself. You're in here. Fight every demon, whatever it may be, weed, whores, whatever the case may be. Individually, everyone knows what their demons are, man. And fight it. Don't lie to yourself. Fight it, man. Don't be defiled up in here, man. You serve the Lord, be holy. Read on.
Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau.
So tonight he's saying, you better handle that demon or you'll be profane like Esau. And Esau is filthy. It's not hard to see. Look at some of the things that white people like to do, man. Like to wear their women's underwear, wearing is what it is, man. Wearing their women's clothes. And the thing is funny, they go to a bar when the woman's dressed with and they squeeze their size 10 into women's high heels and with their tough legs sticking up. That's a profane man. And the Bible's saying, don't be like Esau. And now, you wanna know what's heavy? Esau was who back then? The Roman Empire. And they was profane back then. And they're profane now. And he's saying, look, man, you lot be righteous. Don't be profane like Esau, man. Don't be unclean like him. So what does that mean? With Paul, he's seen the Romans like, listen, fight your sins. You don't want no demons to jump on you and you end up like them. Because in the Bible, it says, when the demon returns, it brings even more worse than itself. So you let one demon reign in you, he's coming back with 7 more, man. God. You thought weed was a problem. Try weed and crack. One demon loves the weed, the other one loves the crack, man. And then the other one loves the horse. And you ain't never coming back if you let more demons enter you, man. So you better fight the one that you have, or he comes back with many more. And you don't want to end up like Esau. That's the point that he's making. Read on.
Who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
And imagine that, for one morsel of meat, sold your birthright, man. If something belongs to you, wouldn't you die for it? Imagine someone said, listen, I got $1,000 for you. I'm just using that as an example. And you know it's yours, and someone's like, listen, if I give you this kebab meat and fries, you can have it. Just please, I want that $1,000. You're gonna be like, no, $1,000 is much worth than what you're offering me. Esau sold it over a morsel of meat, man. Which shows that he didn't even respect the things of the Lord, or he would have died with that birthright, man. He would have died not having that meat and said, you know what, nah, man, that's better, man, than that. But he didn't have no faith, man. He's a faithless man. Even like today, white people don't believe in God like us. Yeah, they go to Catholic school and stuff like that. But do they have the faith we do? No, they don't. Just like Esau sold his birthright for a morsel of meat. And white people have that same thing today. White people don't believe in God like us. It sounds nice when they want to use it to their advantage. But they done what Esau done. Like, I'm hungry. Birthright. God, listen, man, give me that meat. And that's white people today. They're not inclined with the Lord like us, man. But read on.
For you know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing.
So imagine that. He would have inherited a blessing, but he sold the morsel of meat, man. So he sold it for a morsel of meat. Imagine that. You got something great and you sell it for meat. That's Esau for you, man. A person that don't believe in God, don't serve God. And even today, white people are the most godless race of people, man. I mean, even Indians, they serve the wrong God, but they have a spirituality about them, if you know what I'm saying. White people have none. They're carnal. That's why when the whole atheism, it was out, white people flocked to that. Why? Because they didn't believe in no God anyway. By the way, read on.
He was rejected, for he found no place of repentance.
There, so the Lord, you mean he got rid of Esau. You mean we got it and he can't repent, man. I know what people say, you know, God loves everyone. Everyone can repent. What's the one in Acts? Everyone that worketh righteousness with God. Which ain't saying what they think it means. But no, Esau can't repent, man. There's no hope for him, you know what I mean? Now, of course, with that being said, we focus on us. We know what's gonna happen to the white man. But there's a news flash for you. If you ain't right, you ain't getting it either, man. You're gonna die and gonna have to get it later. So you need to be right too, man. If you want to be great in the kingdom of heaven, you gotta keep all these laws. You gotta be on the side of the Lord too. But read on.
Though he sought it carefully with tears, for ye are not come unto the mount that might be touched and be burned with fire.
No, that's and that. There's one that Apocrypha about Esau's what about he was taken out of the way in Second Ezra, moved out the way. I'll find it also. Might be Second Ezra 12. 1 second. That's not it. 1 second. I believe it's the Second Ezra 6 from what I'm getting. Second. Yeah, it's he's moved out of the way. He's talking about Esau. There's like he was moved out of the way. Nah, I'll find it for another class. Now I'll find it for it's a good verse too, man. Let's know that with Esau he was taken out of the way. I mean for us, so that's what all that racial hatred comes from, man. His forefather was taken out of the way for us, man, and that's why they hate us to this day. But with that, I'm gonna hand it over to Priest and Officer 5000 Karafia. No, sorry.
Okay, that's the I.S.U.P.K started at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under the commanding General Yohanna. rule for a new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes to the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will call each other. After the 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10, means 10 in the Hebrew Ma'ashra, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department. Priest fund, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations, Purim the 18th of February and the 19th of February, and Passover the 20th of April.
That's right.
All active aircraft, check all I.S.U.P.K social media. If anyone wants to be trooping in school, start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, and headscarf. And with that, I mark them, we stand, right to face the east, and it's the Lord's Prayer. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakavka, Taba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Baratazak, Kawar, Hayah, Bashamayim, the Thundanawa, the Kam, Cow, Yuwam, Wasalaknawa, Kabawafnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kabawafnawa, Wala'ah, Tabaya'inawa, Bonasaya 1, Abad, Hawashaynawa, Mayan, Right, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Waha'ala, Wahafapara, the I Amen.
And in the English, our
Father,
which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. And forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not. Into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. So be it.
One kid super teacher. Middle Vision, Al-Madam Shabbat, Al-Madam Barak, Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Barakatah,
Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Barakatah,
Yajamata, and class dismissed.